What the heck is happening here? Let's go back to the beginning and find out. Ricardo was asleep at 2 a.m. and his neighbor came and woke him up after this happened. The drunk driver of a red Jeep smashed into Ricardo's Volkswagen after hitting another car parked behind him. This obliterated a front wheel, but that wasn't enough to stop the Jeep driver. After backing up, the drunk driver hit Ricardo's car a couple more times before smashing into a white Mazda parked ahead of him on the street. Bystanders put themselves in harm's way trying to stop the drunk driver, but he took off again, smashing into no fewer than 3 more cars before finally stopping. Eventually, the Jeep became immobilized. Police arrived and the driver was taken to a hospital for minor injuries. His insurance policy couldn't cover the over $35,000 in damage done, with $9,500 of that being done to Ricardo's Jetta. Ricardo had to use his own insurance policy to cover the damage to his car, and the drunk driver's insurance policy only paid for his deductible. This is Drake's second time being featured on our channel. See if this clip seems at all familiar to you. Drake sent us a clip recently of an accident that happened in May. In that one, he was hit by the driver of a Mini Cooper doing the same thing in this same intersection. This time it was a red pickup that hit him while Drake was turning in the outside turn lane. The front end of his Lexus was severely damaged and the engine even stopped running. The pickup driver accepted fault and his insurance provider is paying for a rental car for Drake until they decide if they're going to repair his vehicle or if it's totaled. Either way, Drake told us he'll never take this turn in the outside lane again. Jeff's wife was headed north when she encountered a Dodge Ram pickup coming toward her in the wrong lane. And yes, I did say Dodge Ram. Ram was a Dodge line until 2010, and this truck definitely predates 2010. The pickup continued down the wrong side of the road until it was well out of sight, forcing other traffic out of the lane as well. Jeff's just thankful that their Hyundai has excellent traction control and all-wheel drive. Mark had just finished a day of snowboarding and was headed down a snowy mountain with chains on his tires. As he rounded a corner, an oncoming driver hit the brakes to slow down for pulled over cars, losing control. When the other car started spinning, Mark aimed for the snowbank in an attempt to avoid hitting the car. Unfortunately, both cars ended up in the same place anyway, and contact was made. When Mark made an insurance claim, the insurance company denied fault and claimed their customer had been completely stopped, putting Mark in the wrong. After sending them his dashcam footage, they changed their tune and accepted full responsibility. Mark says he'll never drive without his dashcam. Matthew was driving down a main street in Bucharest. The lanes on the left are bike lanes protected by a curb, and Matthew watched a distracted driver drift over and scrape their undercarriage on it. The Mazda driver pulled over, probably to check for damage and maybe to change their underwear. Somehow, this Jeep driver didn't see our submitter's bright red car. Our submitter swerved into oncoming lanes to avoid T-boning the Jeep, and an island in the middle of the road kept him there for a bit. He was able to continue safely, but the other driver just drove off like nothing had happened. Erica was headed to see her boyfriend on a rainy night. While making a protected left turn through an intersection, a pickup driver ran a red light and T-boned her Hyundai Sonata. The impact spun the car 180 degrees. Erica contacted the police. Both the cops and the tow truck driver told her that without her dash cam, they would have assumed she'd made an unprotected left turn and that she was in the wrong.
That's the only way, because if there's no witnesses, hearsay.
Right.
Erica says invest in a dash cam. Hers made all the difference in determining fault, and she says her dash cam is a lifesaver. Becca watched a biker passing traffic by lane splitting, illegal in Colorado by the way. After a while, the biker slowed down and pulled up to a car it had already passed, evidently not happy with the driver. The biker did his best, which wasn't very good, to kick the car, nearly falling over in the process. The driver changed lanes and the biker turned down another street a little while later. Watch what happened when Damon was merging back into a highway travel lane after passing a van by using the passing lane. An impatient pickup driver couldn't wait for Damon to finish his overtake and nearly hit him while using the exit lane to go around both Damon and the transit van. Fortunately, Damon is a better driver and dodged the speeding Sierra. Damon sent us another clip, and in this one, he couldn't avoid getting sideswiped. He was on his way to work when a minivan driver entering the highway merged into his lane without checking her blind spot. Damon hit the brakes and the horn, but it wasn't enough to avoid the swerving Sienna. The other driver's insurance covered the $1,500 in damage done to Damon's Jeep Renegade. This submitter caught this week's Tesla behaving badly. He encountered a Tesla driver who was being very aggressive, but that's not why he sent us this clip. By the way, some of you have accused us of hating on Teslas, but nothing could be further from the truth. Our main channel, Wham Bam Tesla Cam, is exclusively clips taken from Teslas, but some Teslas have terrible drivers. Keep watching because this one is a great example.
That Tesla man can drive. That Tesla man.
The Tesla driver misjudged an upcoming turn, jumping a curb and plowing into a fire hydrant. Ouch! I hope the Tesla's okay. Art was driving through Vineland, New Jersey when he nearly watched a pedestrian get run over in a crosswalk. Art honked to warn the lady, and she stopped before crossing in front of the reckless driver's path. Unfortunately, the vehicle's tinted windows and absent front license plate made reporting the incident to the police pointless. Watch what happened when this submitter stopped for traffic on the highway. Then, to make matters worse, the other driver decided to flee from the scene rather than pull over. Our submitter pursued them, honking and on the phone with 911 the whole time. Eventually, they did pull over, and the driver and passenger of the Jeep traded places before police arrived. Draw your own conclusions about why they did that. Then they gave our submitter invalid insurance info, and they had to get the California Highway Patrol involved to get the correct info. The insurance provider totaled our submitter's '99 Toyota 4Runner for $5,000 US. Brian was driving along in South Carolina when a wild grill appeared in the road. He didn't spot it until the last moment, and he ran over part of it while dodging the rest. Luckily, there was no damage to his vehicle, and he was able to turn around and move the grill out of the road. Panda had a close call when he was making his way through a roundabout. The driver of a GMC SUV didn't yield, and Panda hit the brakes on a slick road surface. Fortunately, he was able to swerve around the GMC and continue driving, but he hopes the driver learned to pay better attention to traffic. Sandeep was driving in Austin when he watched the driver of a Chevy back into the road, then try to flip a U-turn across traffic. Check out those rims. Too bad the person behind the wheel doesn't know how to drive. Police responded, and Sandeep stopped and gave a copy of his dashcam video to the pickup driver. Tien was headed home after taking his dog to the vet. As he turned through an intersection and merged into a lane leading to a highway on-ramp, the driver of a Toyota Tacoma he'd passed earlier without incident honked at him. When the ramp widened into two lanes, the Tacoma driver pulled in front of Tien before brake-checking him almost to a stop. Tien doesn't know why he did this, but he's glad he captured it on dashcam. Dustin was driving his Chevy Bolt EUV when he watched a BMW driver turn left from a straight-only lane, cutting into turning traffic. The other drivers were forced to slam on their brakes, but at least the BMW driver used their turn signal. Dustin asked us to shout out his host parents, who introduced him to Wham Bam Dashcam and Wham Bam Tesla Cam. Ricardo told us he rarely commits stupidity while driving, but this was one of those few occasions. He tried to take a shortcut by going the wrong way down a one-way street, but it didn't end up saving him 5 minutes as he'd hoped. An oncoming driver was blinded by the sun and wasn't expecting a car coming the other way. Ricardo accepted fault and paid to repair the other vehicle. Ricardo said he's a big fan and told us to keep on truckin'. John captured what he calls an elusive multidimensional Tesla. By the way, don't forget to go subscribe to Wham Bam Tesla Cam if you haven't already, and enjoy the Wham Bam weekend. I guess in California, you've got to do something to make your Tesla stand out.